Hello, welcome to Astronautics for Exploit. This is Dr. Ayanshola Ogundele. Moon simulators, research stations for making moon environment for future missions to the moon. The focus points of my presentation are as follows. Moon simulators, type of moon simulators. Since the classical age, the period of cultural history between the 8th century BC and the 8th century AD, centered on the Mediterranean Sea, the moon has appeared in fiction as a setting. From 1800s, science fictions have been describing the themes of life on the moon, first moon landings, and lunar colonization. For many centuries, the moon has been the subject of many works of art and literature, and the inspiration for many people. Johannes Kepler, in his novel titled Somnium, released in 1634, gave a scientific fiction about traveling to the moon. In 1953, Leinster published Space Platform novel, where he described moon colonization. Author Clarke's short story of 1951, titled If I Forget Thee, O Earth, and Stephen Baxter's 1998 novel, Moonseed, detailed how lunar colonies are humanity's last refuge when the Earth is no longer habitable. The moon as a tourist destination was described in Clarke's 1961 novel, A Fall of Moondust. The moon, a proving guide to test technologies and resources that will take humans to Mars and beyond, including building a sustainable, reusable architecture, is being explored to understand how the solar system and the Earth moon system were formed and evolved to provide humans with new views of early Earth and the role of asteroid impacts in influencing Earth's history. Presently, moon simulators are being developed to simulate moon-specific conditions and its characteristics for the purpose of research and future decision-making and human space exploration to the moon. Moon simulators. Moon simulation is the process of simulating moon-specific conditions or its characteristics for the purposes of research and future decision-making. Moon simulator could be a system that uses moon models for better understanding of certain features of the moon, or by subjecting a group of interested moon enthusiasts to live and work in a designated moon location on Earth to understand more about moon in preparation for the future human missions to the moon. Illustration of moon exploration is shown in this picture. Different types of moon simulators. There are different types of moon simulators, and some of them are atom-based volcanic lava tubes, deep underground simulated moon mass research station, Lanzarote UNESCO Biosphere Research Center, NASA Moon Landing Simulator, Lunar Gravity Simulation, and Moon Replica with Simulation Room. Atom-based volcanic lava tubes on Earth serve as analogs for similar environments that astronauts may one day visit and explore on Mars and the Moon. The unique research station at LOA is run by the International Moon-Based Alliance, an association working towards developing the first international moon base, according to the IMBA website. The picture here shows volcanic lava tubes on Earth that serve as analogs for similar environments that astronauts may one day visit and explore on Mars and the Moon. Moon-based volcanic lava tubes. The International Moon-Based Alliance is an association that comprises of leading scientists, educators, and entrepreneurs from space agencies and industries worldwide to advance the development and implementation of an international base on the Moon. Hawaii Space Exploration Analog and Simulation Dome is shown in this picture. The priority of IMBA is to create an action plan that will culminate with the building of new base prototypes on Earth, followed by a sustainable settlement on the Moon. IMBA intends to formulate an integrated strategy for establishing a proposed multinational lunar base with cooperation with Lunar Exploration and Analysis Group. The European Lunar Symposium, International Space Development Conference, New Space Symposium, International Astronautical Congress, and other worldwide space forums. Illustration of the interior of Hawaii Space Exploration Analog and Simulation Dome is shown in this picture. The research idea of using arc volcanic lava tubes for mimicking the experience of living on Mars and the Moon is part of the Hawaii Space Exploration Analog and Simulation Program. During ISS missions, teams of about 6 crew members live in a lava dome habitat for weeks or months at a stretch. Each has a designated role such as commander, operations officer, crew engineer, and science communicator. Artist's impression of the gateway in orbit around the Moon is shown in this picture. Resources such as food, water, and power are very limited and are strictly monitored, as will be the case on the Moon or Mars, and crew members exit the habitat only after wearing protective suits, helmets, and life support systems. The mission astronauts. Analog astronauts who enter Mauna Loa network of lava tubes perform their research wearing the suits, gathering critical data on lava tube geology and ecosystems. Their work also sheds light on the difficulties of conducting science in extreme environments. The picture here shows illustration of NASA's Orion spacecraft within the lunar sphere of influence or the gravitational pull of the Moon. Deep Underground Simulated Moon Mars Research Station. Researchers in the UK's University of Birmingham are working on the Biosphere Biomedical Observers Pod for Habitability and Extreme Environments Research in Expeditions program. A new laboratory is being established 1.1 kilometers underground in one of the UK's deepest mines. Biosphere is planned in such a way that all kinds of threats and obstacles academic astronauts will face, including moving heavy equipment around underground and dealing with limited access to materials, will be simulated. A lunar module designed for bioengineering and surgical repair is shown in this picture. Biosphere's lab will be focused on astronaut Earth, a cornerstone of the successful Artemis program, planning for the design of an underground Earth facility to support astronauts are also being worked on. The Biosphere Lab is a 3-meter wide simulation module designed to test biomedical procedures needed to prepare materials for threatened tissue damage. These include complex fluids, polymers, and hydrogels for regenerative medicine, which could be used in wound dressings or as fillers for damage mitigation. Illustration of the Biosphere project in deep tunnels in North Yorkshire is shown in this picture. Lanzarote UNESCO Biosphere Research Center was inaugurated in 1993. Lanzarote has an uncanny geological resemblance to the Moon and Mars. Lanzarote's volcanic landscape closely resembles what astronauts can expect to see on the Moon or Mars. The picture here shows Lanzarote's lunar and Martian look-alike landscape, which is crucial to teaching astronauts to become effective field geologists and geomicrobiologists. Lanzarote is one of the world's most important research centers for space exploration. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration and European Space Agency use it for astronaut training and testing Mars rovers, remote control operated trials. In Lanzarote, scientists simulate what it is like to be on the landscape of space and take the next step in preparing astronauts for adventures beyond the Earth. The picture here shows Lanzarote, one of the world's most important research centers for space exploration. NASA Moon Landing Simulator. NASA's state-of-the-art vertical motion simulator, housed at NASA Ames, is used to simulate moon landing strategies in preparation for the NASA's plans to get back to the Moon and establish a permanent presence by 2024. The new moon missions, named Artemis, We combine rockets, landers, rovers, and a new space station, the Lunar Gateway, in orbit around the Moon to deliver robots and eventually humans back to the surface for the first time since 1972. The exterior of the lunar lander, Explore Moon to Mars cap, is shown in this picture. The NASA Moon Landing Simulator is the world's largest motion flight simulator and resides in a 10-story tower on the NASA Ames. It's powered by a massive hydraulic system that can simulate the movement of a real moon lander as it hits its target on the specified landing area on the Moon. The simulator's cap has 6-degree freedom of motion in any direction and as much as 60 feet of room vertically and 40 feet horizontally for simulating landings where the moon lander might be off course by some distance. Vertical motion simulator lunar lander is shown in this picture. Lunar gravity simulator, a moon for all mankind, is the world's first lunar gravity simulator experience, created in collaboration with NASA using the Samsung Gear VR and a custom-built rig. The Moon Mission Simulator sees the user land on the Moon's surface inside a spacesuit, exceed the lander, and plant their flag with a couple of dramatic surprises along the way. Lunar gravity simulation experience is shown in this picture. Moon Replica with Simulation Room is another Mars simulator. A huge sphere shaped like the Moon is being planned to be built on top of Dubai's skyscraper. It includes over 4,000 hotel rooms and a chute where guests can visit space from the comfort of their hotel. The structure is planned to have a simulation room where guests can experience what it looks and feels like to walk on the Moon. Moon Replica with Simulation Room is shown in this picture. For more information, contact Astronautics for Exploits. You've been watching and listening to Moon Simulators, research stations for mimicking moon environment for future missions to the Moon, presented by Dr. Ayanshola Ogundele, with the focus points Moon Simulators and type of Moon Simulators. Thank you.